Hi Scorpio, I was thinking whether I needed to put the light on or not. It's like Mordor in here. The sky's just gone this kind of steely grey colour. I've got my hot water bottle. Let me know if you've got anything like that. I've also got my flannel pyjamas on. Look at them. Not bad, eh? The men's ones, but you tend to find those ones are actually cosier, aren't they? So I'm ready to rumble. Valentine the cat is here. She's been ignoring me. I haven't made the bed very well. And this is your reading for February 2024. Can't get used to saying that. Okay, Scorpio, look what we're going to look at. We're going to look at a bit of love life. Ooh, that's a good card. Love life. Wow. Work life, channel messages. We're going to riff and see what comes up, to be honest. So get yourself a drink. I have got myself a drink. It's not a particularly nice one, but I'm sticking with it. Now, I've taken two kind of overall energy cards for you, which have made me feel personally quite excited, even though I'm not a Scorpio. We kick off, and I'm using my winter tarot here still because it's freezing, 10 of Cups, Mars in Pisces. How'd you like that, Scorpio? Mars in Pisces, the zippity-doo-dah, it's the max out card, happiness, heading for something good, very good outcomes, somewhere over the rainbow, whichever way you want to put it. It's a breath of fresh, glittered air. It's a bit like, you know, when they do the end of a competition like the X Factor or stuff like that, and then they send all those paper strips into the air and everyone's like, yeah, it's that feeling. To go alongside it, Major Arcana is the Sun. Wowzers. New Year, Happy New Year. Good. We're well into the new year, but we'll take the happy. And also the sun is the sun on your skin. It's healthy. You're having a bit of a glow up in February. It's not the month you would expect to have a glow up, Scorpio. But I've always said, when good fortune and nice things come knocking, don't ask, just answer the door, okay? I'm getting a feeling, even though these cards are lush and I would love to get them in my reading, I'm getting a feeling you've had a bit of a difficult 3 months, some of you. I'm getting November, December, and now we've had January. That's 3 months. So back in November, it was your season. And Scorpio is one of the only signs I know that instead of having everything go really well when it's their birthday season, everything goes a little bit kind of dark and a bit too scorpionic. You know how as a Scorpio, because I've studied you as Scorpios as much as you can study a Scorpio, because quite unstudyable, you know, which is how you know you're dealing with a Scorpio, and you know what I'm talking about, Scorpio. But when I've looked at Scorpios, when you get intense, or when the universe gets intense and around your birthday time, you tend to almost go down into something, because the universe wants you to have a fresh insight. Something you were doing for the past 3 months has not worked the way you've wanted it to. It's just not, you're not reaping the rewards that you wanted to reap. And it could be a relationship, because we've got the 10 of Cups. It could be a job, it could be any of those things, and we'll have a quick look at each area, okay? But I like that there's an invitation here from the universe for you to throw it open and breathe, okay? Very nice indeed. And it just gets better. Take another card to go with that one. Bet you wish you were a Scorpio, Val. Oh, I always get 2 10s together. Shall we have a look at the actual cards? Hang on. There we go. I call this the 10 of Q-tips because it looks like cotton earbuds. So we've got 10 of Wands. And actually, I do like the 10 of Wands. It's a bit more easy to digest than the 10 of Swords. So look, these two are connected. I always, nearly always, in the daily tarots that I do as well, I nearly always pull 2 10s together. You have, think of this as like a hammock. You need to drop something, you need to change something, you need to swerve, not even swerve actually, you need to let go of this. It's holding you back. And the time has come when you can be held back no longer according to the universe. Stuff to do, happiness to have, eggs to break, things to be yours. You don't need this holding you back. This is like a trauma bond of some kind. You know, that feeling that you've always had this, or that you deserve this, or that you need to help this person or that person. You know, Scorpios can be incredibly loyal. You either don't make the promise to somebody and don't make any promises, or you're all in 110%. But sometimes the job or the person that you've gone all in with is wrong. You know, it's just not cricket, as my mum would say. And you can find it hard then to take your attention away from it and let it drop off. And that's what I feel is the lesson that we're coming into. Let's take a couple of cards of what to do about this particular situation. So I'm looking here a bit at course of action, and I'll also look at what's inevitable. This is a reading in itself, but if we get to the end and it really resonates, there will be an extended reading. So I do an extended reading every month. I look more at the love stuff in that came up in this reading, and do channeling and digging and how do they feel about you, and go more into the shadow side and get loads of different decks out. And we have a bit of fun, and I normally refresh my cup of tea at that point too. So if you want that when it's finished, if this really is your reading, it will be the first link in the description box. Okay, so advice about how to go about this, what to do about this, you know, what is the best way forward, which is always what we should be focusing on. It's what I focus on in the extended as well. It's what I focus on in this reading, because I want you to get to the best place you can get. Otherwise, why would we be doing this? We don't want to sabotage ourselves. I feel, Scorpio, this has self-sabotage written all over it. Put it in the comment section what that means. Getting Scorpios to comment is honestly, I don't know. I don't know why I do it, because Scorpios don't really want to, and why would you? You don't really want to tell me your deepest, darkest secrets in the comment section, but if you can tell me anything about this, just tell me, okay? This is a self-sabotage. It's something you do and you know you do it, and you're like, don't let me do that thing again. The advice is the Fool. Now, sometimes you ask the tarot for advice and it's like, ooh, 2 of Swords, or ooh, I don't know, 3 of Pentacles, and you think, Christ, what does that mean? You want advice and the tarot gives you the Fool. That is advice, because the advice is break into something new. It's the 0 card of the tarot. It's the Fool. It's taking a risk, taking a leap, putting yourself out there, being that person, that Fool person. I like this energy a lot. It feels fresh, it feels clean, it feels new, and it feels like it might be, in the beginning, slightly difficult for you to make that initial move, but you'll be so glad that you did. Next to it, we have the 3 of Cups, which is also community, your friends, your people, your tribe, putting yourself out there, trying something new, taking a class. Whatever it is, it's becoming more of yourself, building up your life, but also finding the people who connect with you. This could be online, it could be in real life, doesn't matter how you do it actually anymore. There's so many ways to do it, but make sure you're doing it. Scorpios also have a tendency, Scorpios are good at being on their own. You're very self-sufficient, but you have a tendency to do that when maybe you should be reaching out to people. Only people you trust, but Scorpios would only ever reach out to someone they trusted. I don't need to tell you that. Okay, work. We're going to have a look at work, and we're going to look at love. Oh, that's interesting for work. God, says that. Fairly big cards we're getting for work. So we're getting two majors, and they're both sort of destiny cards. First of all, for work, we're getting judgment. Judgment is past, present, and future. So something is coming up at work that's come up before. It could have come up in a different job. It could be, let's say you've got a really difficult boss who's micromanaging you, okay? And when you were at school, you had a really difficult teacher who micromanaged you. So it doesn't mean that you necessarily have a work situation that you've come up against before at the same job. It could be right earlier in your life. There's a tussle with authority. So if you look at judgment, it's telling you that there's a lesson from the past. You're going back to the future, back to the past, okay? Simultaneously. Can even be past life with this. Depends, you know. I don't know much about past life, but now and again I get a little kind of whiff that it could be past life, and I pass it on to the people I'm reading for, because you might know all about that, even if I don't. And when I get a whiff of it, it's afoot. There's something about it going on. So we've got the Hierophant here, and the Hierophant is tradition. We've got the High Priest here. They've got all the gear and all the idea. They're turning up with all the stuff on. They have authority over these people who are kind of supplicants at the bottom. And these people must bow. You know, the Hierophant has many different meanings in tarot, depending on the context of the cards. The context you're getting it in is quite an authoritative context. You're getting it in the do as I say and not as I do. Now, a Scorpio will have you up on that if you try that. Sometimes, Scorpio, you can't keep it quiet when there's something you don't agree with, and it looks like this is one of those times. So you may have to make some decisions here, and they're going to be quite interesting decisions. For interesting, read difficult. Interesting decisions about your comfort zone, about how much you need the money of this particular job, because sometimes we're going through a particular time when we have our principles, but we need to pay the rent, you know, and we think, okay, for 3 months I will shelve my misgivings and I will just get my head down, stay under the radar and pay the rent. But that comes to an end at some point. So you're going to be making some slow, calculated decisions about work, about whether you can work under this regime, about whether, even if it was just something as seemingly straightforward as working in the office versus working at home, cutting back on your hours, increasing your hours, whatever, you know, there's something here about making your own schedule. Possibly going from being employed to self-employed, or going from the way that you were working to a different way, like carving out a negotiation here. Or even, and let's take one more card, what happens if we walk? Oh my God, I need to drop the whole lot. Okay, maybe that would be a bit dodge, because like the whole lot, I said, what happens if we walk? And the cards like turned inside out, went upside down, a couple fell on the floor. Okay. I'm just going to have a look at that. Oof. And of course, it is always your decision if you're going to walk or not. A Scorpio won't be told what to do anyway, but all the same. Right. I quite like this actually. If we walk, we get offered something better. And that's really tricky in some ways, because you're taking a leap of faith, aren't you? Like the Fool. This could also be in other parts of your life. Fortune favours the brave. Right at the time when you're not feeling brave, which is always when it comes. Strength card. Know yourself. Know your limits, know what you can live with, know what you thrive on, know what you can put up with, know your comfort zones, okay? and the Chariot. Love this card. So the Chariot is about two different directions, two choices. Can't ride two horses with one backside. Okay? You are required to jump the fence on this one way or the other. Let's have a look at your love life. If that was your work stuff, by God. Strong, strong month for you, Scorpio. But all a month of preparation. I don't see any of this actually finalised in February. More like sort of February to May for that. Let's look at what's going on with your love life. First card I get is the Four of Pentacles. It's what I call being emotionally constipated. This is a card where, and I'll look at the other cards first, but it feels like something isn't budging. It's stuck, okay? So I call it being emotionally constipated. The Empress. So, this is about Sun in Capricorn for this card, but a feeling that something isn't moving the way that it should. Something isn't gaining momentum. Something is stuck. You're not able to move forward for some reason. Then we get the Empress, which is kind of your energy here. Venus energy. You get Taurus and Libra, of course, with this card as well. Earth energy is big. Knowing yourself is big. Getting into your feelings is big when it comes to your love life at the moment, single or coupled. You need to get beyond your thoughts about the situation and into your body, into your feelings. How do you feel about it somatically? You feel the desire to protect yourself. And that's usually quite accurate when you're a Scorpio, but at the same time, occasionally you can go too far with that, okay? And then we get the Hanged Man. Something is on hold that you don't want to be on hold. You want it to be up and running. But it feels like something or somebody is not coming forth, not giving up their power, not giving up their control. It becomes a battle of wills. Now, normally I would say in a battle of wills, Scorpio will win. But when it comes to love, being right and winning is not always the prize. There is a softening required here, Scorpio. This is not black and white. This is not binary. This is somewhere in between. This is a relationship. It's if you meet somebody, this will be drifting between meeting them and it being something. If this is a relationship you're already in, it's in a nameless space at the moment that you can't see the roadmap for, okay? The Hanged Man, there's plenty in there, but it's stalled. When you get the Hanged Man, it's an elegant stalling. It's Neptunian. So Neptune is about dreams and whispers and glitter and vapors and all of that kind of Piscean energy. A relationship is held in stasis, almost like when it's icy and all the plants are kind of arrested in their development, and then spring comes and you get to see whether what you planted actually works. This is going to require a bit of patience from you, Scorpio. Scorpios inherently are a very patient sign, and you're very intuitive, and you can feel that this is on a sort of a soft balancing point. Let's have a look. In the extended, I'm going to get another deck and do a completely different love reading. Well, I'm going to use a bit of this, but I'm going to do a reading for your person from their point of view, because it feels very much like they're behind ice. And it reminds me, weirdly, because I've not watched it in ages and it wasn't particularly my thing to start with, was it Lord of the Rings, where they've got like that kind of strange looking king that looks all chalky white and weird? Might be an orc. It's an orc, and then he's under the ice and somebody looks at him and he looks like he's made of ice. Okay, anyway. Your love oracle cards are charisma, and that's your charisma. Love flows to you. You're radiating charisma and charm, even if you're not feeling it, okay? And then you also get hideaway. Now, this card is about like a love retreat. But I'm also getting, apart from the need for privacy, if you're in a relationship, I'm still getting that somebody is under the ice, somebody is away from you, someone's in like an emotional hideaway. That's what I get. It's a very strong feeling. Wowzers, Scorpio. I like your reading. It's very powerful. There's new beginnings here. There's also frustration here. There's also a sense of things being suspended a little, which could turn out really well. I'm glad you're a patient sign. Right, I'm going to go do the extended. That will be the first link in the description box. Go grab yourself a drink. I'll see you on the other side. Namaste.